Hey, it's Justin. I'm back with another episode, and as usual, the answer is yes. The question is Southern California in a housing bubble? I don't like to use the word bubble, but prices are inflated, and I am doing these videos to talk about why I believe that prices are higher than they should be and will be coming down, and will be coming down for years. And when you say coming down, what do I mean? I mean 20%-ish. That's the research that I'm doing suggests that Southern California home prices should be coming down about 20%, and it's going to take years. It's not going to. I hate it when they say bubble pop. It's like, ooh, it's disappeared. It's not like that, and it's not a meltdown. That's a nuclear reactor melts down, right? It's not a meltdown, and it's not a collapse. I hate that. They love to say collapse. Look, home prices are, I believe, likely to come down to more reasonable amounts in the near future. And I'm talking, 2, 3, 4 years. And it's going to be a steady decline, maybe a little bounce back here and there, but it's going to go, house prices will go down about 20% over the next 3 or 4 years. That's my prediction, based on the research I've been doing. And I'm a realtor, right? And it does not benefit me to say that. It would benefit me to say, oh, you should buy now because house prices will just keep going up. Well, they probably won't for various reasons. This is the third episode. On the first episode, I talked about the income price index, or the ratio, where the home prices are the highest they've ever been relative to income. So the ratio of the median or average income to the median or average home price in California is the greatest ratio it's ever been. So it is harder for an average income person to buy a house than it has ever been before. And that's really problematic. That was episode 1, right? That was exhibit A. Episode 2 and exhibit B was the new jacked up interest rates. It was pretty easy to buy a house at 2%. It's a lot harder to buy it at 6%. Your payments are much greater. If you do the math, and also you may not, at 6%, you may not qualify because the payments are greater, and you may not be, your lender may assess that you are not capable of making those payments, and so you're not going to get your loan. Where at 2%, your payments would be a lot less, and you might get the loan. You'd be more likely to, because it would be more affordable for whatever your situation was. So also, it doesn't make at 6%. A lot of these purchases don't make sense for individuals, rank and file people, and it also doesn't make sense for big corporations who are buying them up as investments. So it doesn't make sense for a lot of people, and I could get into the ins and outs, but you know what I mean. It costs when things cost more, less people get involved in the market, and going from 2% to 6% means the shit just costs more. So naturally, people are going to get out for that reason. Now, one thing about interest rates is they could go back down should things get really ugly in the market and the economy. But they said Fed says they won't come down, but we don't know. But that's exhibit B. That was episode 2. So episode 3, which is where we are now, exhibit C, is the flood of inventory that's coming on the market. Now, flood of inventory will and may and was likely to come from various sources. What I want to talk about right now is the one source, which will be the 1.6 million builds happening in North America at the moment. That apparently is the highest number in 40 years. Realtors have been complaining, and buyers have been complaining about a lack of inventory for years. Well, they're about to see inventory get pretty plentiful. It's as you would expect in any economic system, when supply and demand, right? In theory, right? When you get a lot more supply, it brings prices down, as it should. Now, I don't know if we are now in some weird economic dystopia where the American rank and file home buyer is not a significant factor, or is certainly not as significant as they used to be. I don't like to see them become less and less of a significant factor in the market, and I hate the idea that foreign investors are all we need now. We don't need the American purchaser. I mean, obviously we're not there yet, but we're a step closer to that, and I find it disturbing, and I don't like it. So I'm hoping that there will be some sanity restored to the market. I think that these 1.6 million bills will help rank and file people buy houses, because it will bring the prices down, give them more options, more places to be, maybe less commuting, because there'll be new houses where you are rather than far away. For all these reasons, I think unfortunately, if people were relying on these high home prices to make for their livelihood, they may be in for some world of hurt when they're selling these properties at at what they cost to produce them, or even less, or barely. Their margins might get real small when they thought they weren't going to be so small. I'm sorry for that. However, I do think we are in an we are in a housing market that it simply can't sustain. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm getting political here, but it shouldn't sustain, because when house prices are creeping up toward 10 times your annual income, that's not healthy. So this should bring it down, for better or for worse. On a previous episode, I mentioned my parents. The house that I grew up in was purchased for about 2.5 years income in other words, my father's single family, the family treasury, it was a single income household, and it was 2.5 years of my father's income as a civil servant. And it was a pretty nice house. It was not a new house, and it was not in perfect condition. And it was in the country, it wasn't in an urban center or anything like that. However, we had a pretty nice life and our house cost 2.5 years of my father's income, 20-year mortgage. And now it's upwards of 10 to 1. Weird. So we'll see what happens, and we'll be updating you on this flood of inventory. And this is not the evictions that are coming up and the foreclosures that are bound to flood the market. This is just new builds coming on at 1.6. I think 800,000 of those are single-family residential homes, and the rest are other forms of housing. But that should provide downward pressure on housing. So if you want to sell, if you're thinking of selling, now is the time to sell. And again, I don't know what your realtor's telling you, but there just seems to be, and again, I could be wrong, right? Everybody could be wrong. Your realtor could be right, and me and all my sources could be wrong. I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not the world's greatest expert on housing value, but it's looking. Look. I don't benefit by saying this. I'm just trying to be the voice of reason in a world where I see too many realtors who seem to be having problems with this idea, and for obvious reasons. It's better for business if your clients believe that their housing price will continue to rise after they buy it, and it'll go up forever. Now, it would be a lovely thing to see, but unfortunately, free market economies don't work that way, and I'm predicting some declines over the next several years in housing prices in Southern California. Hope to see you soon. Bye.